Here, let's talk about the games happened on Saturday, the 8th. Let's just jump right into it. The first game is the Grizzlies beat the Clippers 123-108. The big news this game was what's the big news this game? Dylan Brooks. Yep, Dylan Brooks sprained his ankle pretty badly, so he's gonna be out maybe multiple weeks, 2-3 weeks, and Desmond Bain continues to be, he's continued to be a beast. At this point, I mean, early season you would think maybe he's just on a hot stretch, but maybe he's just that good. 23 points, 2 steals and a block, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. And this game didn't, Jaren obviously didn't play. So really good stuff. And I would still try to sell high on him, but just gotta be careful. He could be like a top 60 player rest of the season, right? And then we don't know when Dylan Brooks is gonna be back, and who knows, Jaren could get hurt. So just write it out. If you can get like a top 60 player, or just try to do a 2-for-1 to get like a top 30, 40 player. Maybe another top 70, 60 player. But he's been really, really strong all year, hitting a lot of threes with great efficiency, and being a surprise so far. Jaren Jackson Jr. also went off this game against the Clippers. I suppose Clippers, they just, there's really nobody on their team can, other than Marcus Morris, can really. Ray Jackson can score some points as well. So I wonder who gave him all those blocks. 3 steals. Jaren Jackson Jr. and 10 for 10 on the free throw line is also really, really good. Jaren Jackson Jr. in the last 2 weeks was shooting horribly. I mean, he didn't shoot particularly well. Still 41%. After this game, 74th ranked player. To me, he's a top 50 player with, top 25, top 30 upside. It depends on if he can put together like a nice stretch. Over the past 2 weeks, his shooting is pretty poor. This is obviously a great game. Killian Tilly came in and played 22 minutes. Let's not worry about him. It was a 5-game week, so Tyus Jones and Brandon Clark definitely, outperformed the expectations, I would say. Tyus Jones started this game because Jaren was out. Jaren could still be out Sunday. We don't know. Maybe it was just for rest purposes. And Brandon Clark, with Steven Adams out, he's just a really good option. Throughout 5 games this season, he's probably like maybe top 40, 50 player. Have 15 rebounds and 3 blocks here. Really good stuff. And DeAnthony Melton, with Jaren out, and now that Dylan Brooks is out, he could have some good short, quote unquote short-term value, but he could have value all season. Who knows? 23 minutes, shot horribly, but 11 rebounds in just 23 minutes. As a guard, 6 assists, 2 steals. He's just really, really good. Put up fantasy numbers whenever he gets minutes. He's out on the waiver wire. He's a must roster. For the LA Clippers, Nicholas Batum started. Didn't really do anything. Played just 20 minutes. I don't think. Well, they do have a back-to-back, so after Sunday you can move on from him. He's not. The minutes is not up, even with everybody out. So once guys start coming back, he won't be getting. He had a stretch where he's putting out really good numbers, but coming back from an ankle injury, I don't expect him to put up great numbers. Marcus Morris, 29 points. He's a must roster. Also try to sell high on him. Paul George is going to be back eventually. But we know this is what Morris can do, right? Average close to 20 points when he was on the New York Knicks. A really good 3-point shooter. But when Paul George comes back, he's not going to have great value. The main thing with him is he doesn't really get defensive stats or assist. So a lot of threes, a lot of points, those are all good. But when Paul George comes back, those values are going to be gone. Zubac also came back, played 19 minutes. If you want to have him for rebound efficiency, I don't hate it. You just don't find guys like that on the waiver wire better than he, doing what he does. Amir Coffey, 21 points. Reggie Jackson, 18 points, and a steal with nothing else. Reggie Jackson needs to get more assists, man. Who on this team is getting the assists? Really, nobody. Nobody had more than 3 assists this game. So Paul George really is running a lot of the offense. Terrence Mann, have the opportunity with everybody out, but didn't really do much. Eric Bledsoe is a drop now, unfortunately, even without Luke Kennard. So the Clippers team, they got so many guys coming in and out of the lineup. At the moment, it's like Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris Sr. They obviously need to be rostered, but everybody else you could stream them. but the value is really not there, not consistent, and the minutes are not consistent either. All right, let's go to the next game. The Milwaukee Bucks lost to the Charlotte Hornets 106-114. For the Bucks, how did they lose this one? When Giannis played this well, 43 points, and went 18 for 20 from the free throw line, 90%. What a game from Giannis. He's just being beast, being a beast. If you ignore the free throws, of course, top 1, top 2, top 3 player, for sure. Good stuff. Chris Middleton, 27 points, 9 assists, 10 rebounds with nothing, and had 6 turnovers as well. He's been underwhelming. Really great this game with, Jrue Holiday out. Bobby Portis also chipped in 2 steals. He's been underwhelming a little bit. This is a great game for him. And Jordan Navarro, before this game, every time he gets minutes, he put up pretty good numbers. That's not the case this game. Jrue Holiday is out. We don't know when he's coming back. They got a couple of other guys out, like Pat Connaughton, like Dante DiVincenzo. He came back, and now I think he's in the protocol. So maybe Jordan Navarro depend on the Bucks' schedule next week. They got a good schedule. You could stream Jordan Navarro and see where things go. Wesley Matthews, 9 points and 2 steals. Not the best game. I wouldn't stream him. Doesn't really put up any numbers when he's on the court. And he's old at this point. How old is this guy? This is a great win for the Charlotte Hornets, though. They being, early the season they were making some noise, but lately they haven't been, with all the COVID protocol and stuff like that. But they won 2 straight, 8th seed right now. Gordon Hayward, a block, 9 points. Not the best game. Ranking wise, he's gonna be solid, like top 50, 60, but a lot of his value coming from the efficiency. Miles Bridges also 21 points. Miles Bridges has definitely fallen off. He was a top 10 player. Let's see where he is at now. 33rd ranked player. Still okay. I don't know if if you can get a top 30 player back for him, this is something I would do. If you can get a Tyrese Halliburton, right? If you can get OG Anunoby, those players ranking wise going to be better than. I'm pretty sure they're going to be better than him. They obviously offer different stuff. A big issue with him is the free throws. He's pretty bad with his free throws. Last 2 weeks, still 46 ranked player, so I guess he's been fine. Averaging 18 points, 2 threes, 1.5 steals, and 0.8 blocks over the last 2 weeks. But still, shooting 53% from the free throw. So that's got to improve. He's not that bad of a free throw shooter. I think he should be like a 75 plus. On the season, he's 75%. So yeah, like maybe not top 30, top 40, top 50 for sure. If I can get like a Tyrese Halliburton, OG, guys in that area, Jrue Holiday, Anthony Edwards, who's ranked right below him. Those are the type of things that I'll be looking to do. But he's not gonna put up the numbers he was putting up early in the season with guys out. Now that they got their full squad back, Terry Rozier, on paper looks really good. 28 points, 2 steals, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. But a lot of it is based on the crazy shooting. I look at him as top 60, not like this on the season. Where is Terry? He has not been consistent. 53rd ranked player, okay. But if you can get guys like, I'm trying to see, like if you can get a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who is right below him, Jaylen Brown, even though Jaylen Brown's got his issues, if you can get a Bradley Beal, like do a 2-for-1, he's not averaging 18 points, 1.2 steals, and 0.5 blocks, shooting 44% on the season. I guess all the countings that looked all right, like he could sustain that and he's only averaging 1.2 turnovers. So surprisingly, like a lot of his value coming from the low turnovers. If you pound the turnovers, he's probably where he needs to be, 60, 70, right? So that's what I would expect. How did he only turn the ball over so little? That's kind of crazy. for a guard. He's only turning over, 66. So like 60, 70 is probably where he. So if you can get like a top 40 player, which is where he was last year, try to do those type of trades. LaMelo Ball played just 26 minutes, had 5 fouls. Almost had a triple-double and a steal. That's fine, but to me, he's a first-round player, and since coming back, he hasn't put up some crazy numbers like he was putting up. 30-point triple-doubles with like 3 steals and 2 blocks. Those type of games. He's 112th ranked player in the last 2 weeks. I look to try to buy low for LaMelo Ball. PJ Washington, Kelly Oubre Jr. Those are all good fantasy players given the minutes, but Kelly Oubre Jr. I would really try to sell him. Like if you can get any type of value, now he's in that 27, 28 minute a night role. Bad free throw shooter, but he still put up numbers. Like 18 points is not bad. Still in a block, so if you could still hold on to him, but I'd really try to sell high on him. Let's go to the next game. Orlando Magic, 2 bad teams. Magic lost to Detroit. Fred Wagner was questionable coming in. I guess the ankle probably bothered him a little bit, so he only took 10 shots. He is a bit sell high for sure. Now just hold. 90, 100 type of player. Wendell Carter Jr. was out, so Freddie started, played 14 minutes. He's not really fantasy relevant. Mo Bamba had a great game. Overall value-wise, 4 blocks, but everything else is pretty poor. Coming back from COVID, he hasn't had a good offensive game. The shooting was pretty poor. Like, he was hitting the 3. Like, in the beginning of the season, he was hitting a lot of 3s. He was shooting 3s at a pretty good clip. Still 45th ranked player, but like I said, like all the values from him are coming from the blocks. Like he's not even a great field goal guy. He's shooting 45%, which is understandable because he takes a lot of 3s. He takes a decent amount of outside shots, right? 2.2 blocks. I think that's sustainable. If he played 30 minutes, but everything else is, not great. But in category leagues, that's how things work. If he's gonna give you 2 blocks, which is like top 3, top 4 in the league, while the bunch of guys averaging 0.1, just no blocks at all, his ranking is gonna be great. Garrett Harris, he's been pretty good lately. I would just enjoy the ride and try to sell high on him if you can. 34 minutes again, but Jalen Suggs gonna be back eventually. We have Markelle Fultz, and when those young guys come back, I don't see him getting 34 minutes. But lately, in the last 2 weeks, he's been really good. I would just ride with him. If you, 80th ranked player, not crazy, but he's been averaging 18.6 points with 3 threes and 1.4 steals. All three of those categories are pretty good. While shooting 48% and 85% from the free throw line, the efficiency is also great. Just write it out. Cole Anthony struggled, but just glad to see him play, to be honest. 19 points, 2 steals, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Bad efficiency across the board. And Chuma Okeke played 26 minutes. You could have him, but the minutes is inconsistent up and down. He's an option you could stream. Really, the only thing he provides is the steals. And Terrence Ross, 13 points and 1 3. He played 31 minutes. Lately, he's been getting the minutes. RJ Hampton only had played 16. Terrence Ross, if you pound field goal, you could stream him for points and 3s. For Detroit Pistons, and I don't think he makes that many 3s either. So really, just the points. For Detroit Pistons, they got the win, so great. Amadou Diallo still getting 28 minutes. So just ride him, keep riding it until the wheels fall off. Still put up a great line, 17 points, 3 steals is great, 1 block is good, 6 rebounds, decent. Sadiq Bey didn't really do much, but still had 16 points and 2 threes. If you haven't sold high on him, you just hold, and hope he has had a good stretch, right? Maybe he can average close to 16, 17 points a game, even with everybody back. The fact that he took 16 field goals tell some of the story. Isaiah Stewart had 2 blocks and 8 rebounds. Right. If you need rebounds and blocks, you could have him on your roster. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Just leave him. Kalian Hayes, 24 points, 24 minutes. Really just a streamer for some steals and assists. The minutes was never high with this guy. Always is under like 27, 28 minutes. So, Kate Cunningham struggled with his shot, but what else is new? Not the best game. Kate, that's gonna happen. Oh, I'm surprised he didn't go off versus the Magic, but this is what's gonna happen with him. Up and down. The next game he could have 25 points with 10 assists and 10 rebounds. So yeah, just a very strong hold. Obviously, Trey Lyles played well. 20 minutes here. He's a guy that we could consider streaming. They do have a back-to-back Monday and Tuesday for Detroit. 16 points, a steal and 2 blocks. I don't hate the idea. Corey Joseph got 24, but yeah. Josh Jackson, Saban Lee. I mean, a lot of those Detroit guys, given the minutes, they could put up numbers. Like Josh Jackson can put up numbers, although his efficiency is an issue. Saban Lee can put up numbers. Even Corey Joseph can get a bunch of steals and assists. But yeah, they almost got their full squad back. All right, let's go to the next game. The Utah Jazz lost to the Indiana Pacers. This was an ugly loss for the Jazz. But they do have some guys out. I guess Rudy Gobert really is the MVP on this team. Because Mitchell went off this game, they still lost. 36 points, 9 assists, a steal. Mitchell continues to impress us this year, top 15 player. And I think there's a chance he could stay inside the top 15. I mean, top 20 in that range. Really, really good stuff from him this year. Mike Conley played 31 minutes. Not the best game. But he's kind of like Gordon Hayward. Ranking-wise, he's deceivingly good because a lot of efficiencies, but a lot of counting stats. So I really... and he's a veteran. He's going to sit out from time to time. Miss back-to-backs. Not every back-to-backs, but some of it. And Jazz is another team that, hey, they're going to rest guys if necessary. Their focus is on the playoffs. So I look to try to sell him. Every time he has a good game. Jordan Clarkson came in 18 points and 2 threes, did exactly what he does, but was a minus 30. Wow. Pacers really destroyed him whenever he played. Hassan Whiteside would have been a good stream, but no blocks here. Had 5 fouls. Struggled against Miles Turner and Sabonis. Pacers front court sometimes could be overlooked. Sabonis really destroyed him. Dominated in the paint. Royce O'Neal, really high minutes. He's a guy we could stream. Lately, he has not been great. This game was great. And then last game, I remember. I think he also played well. He's also always a guy that we could stream if the Jazz got a good schedule. Bogdanovic also 21 points and 3 threes. Does what he does. And let's look at the Pacers. So they got a couple guys back. They got Chris Duarte back. They got Jeremy Lamb back. But most importantly, Malcolm Brogdon's still out. It's frustrating with this guy. Every single season he does this. He's just injury prone at this point, right? He come by play 1 or 2 games and then just out. So I think if he continues to miss games, Lance Stevenson is a guy we could grab. He's been that backup, quote unquote, playmaker, getting the 14 assists, 4 steals, 16 points. Last game he had 30 points. We could look to if Brogdon is out, we really could think about picking him up. If Brogdon comes back, then and we don't know when Brogdon is back. Well, he was questionable, so it should be soon. But it's good to see Lance get doing this in just 20 minutes too. They're starting point guards and shooting guards. Kiefer Sykes and Dwayne Washington Jr. Those guys are not great fantasy players, even though the minutes is up there. They're really not doing anything. Everything goes through Sabonis. This game went through Lance Stevenson because he got 14 assists. Sabonis just dominated Whiteside. Really. 42 points, a steal and a block, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 82% from the field, 42 points. Yeah. It's really good stuff. And he's a guy that it will be tough to sell because he's drafted pretty high and his ranking is not good because of the bad free throws. It's like when you try to sell Giannis, you have to try to sell him to a bad free throw team, right? because with the free throw, his value is like outside the top 10. But punting free throw, he's like top 1 and top 2. So that's a big difference. Miles Turner, 8 points, 4 blocks. 4 blocks is great. But he only played 20 minutes, so not good, I suppose. Justin Holiday, you could stream him for some defensive stats, although lately he has not been getting a lot of defensive stats. Just a 3-point guy. But he's getting the minutes, just not producing. Oh shit, Brissett, 18 minutes. This guy, just remember, like, if, guys are, if he start getting 25, 30 minutes, if, the Pacer team either gets hit with injuries or people getting traded, he has some upset. I remember a couple games, is it last year, he had like 5 steals and 3 blocks. He could go off like that. So these type of players, you always got to pay attention to. Those defensive specialists. The next game, the New York Knicks got destroyed by the Boston Celtics. Kemba Walker is out again. I guess he's just that injury prone. There's a reason why they want to, monitor his minutes, but Tom Thibodeau was playing him 40 minutes. So Kemba, if you got him, it's tough to hold. If you got an IR, sure. We just don't know when he's back. Like, I think he got ruled out way in advance. So with all the guards out, Emmanuel Quickly now needs to be streamed at least. Played 37 minutes, and Alec Burks is finding ways to get minutes, I suppose, on this team. Derrick Rose is going to be out. Kemba now is out. And this game, Evan Fournier was out. So, like, with Kemba out, Evan Fournier also could be an option to stream. He became an option to stream. But Alec Burks, solid 3 steals and a block. Didn't shoot the ball well, but he needs to be rostered. Emmanuel Quickly, 18 points. And, Mitchell Robinson, Nerlens Noel was out this game. Mitchell Robinson came in, had just 1 block. I'm kind of losing my patience with him. He has tremendous upside. He could come in and block 5 shots at any given night, but he hasn't been doing that. And he only committed 1 foul. So, a couple years ago, people complaining, like, they get on Mitchell Robinson, why is he fouling so much? And this is what we get. If he stops fouling, he could play 28 minutes, but just 1 block. So sometimes a guy struggles with his, fouls. It's not necessarily a bad thing because he's going for the blocks for you. It's frustrating. He's a guy that, hey, in the playoff, you don't need the blocks. You got to get rid of him because he's not really providing much else. I mean, 5 for 5 on the field is nice. 8 rebound is good. But there's so many areas he's not doing. And 1 for 4 from the free throw line. Julius Randle, 6 for 19, 13 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. Randle has not been good. I think a good buy low opportunity. To me, he's a top 50 player. And when his ranking falls, like 80, 90. So that's why you're going to try to do a 2-for-1 to get Randle, right? Yeah, 185th ranked player. That's what I thought was going to happen with him last year when the wheels fall off. Look, if you look at the counting stats, 17 points is not great, but it's okay. 12 rebounds is good. Even getting 1.2 steals, but he's shooting 36% from the field and 68% from the free throw. Last year, he was like 80% free throw shooter. I always thought, hey, that's not sustainable, right? And, the bad free throw is kind of back. On the season, wow, he's already 90th ranked. Shooting 76% from the free throw. So, I still look at Randle as a top 50 player, but you just got to be careful when you trade for him. I think field goal should bounce back, but the free throw, maybe just 75%. So, you got to be a little bit careful when you trade for him. RJ played 42 minutes. Bad efficiency. What else is new? 1 for 5. County says is okay. 19 points and 2 steals and 6 rebounds. He's a guy really you could stream if you don't care about the efficiencies. Because they're the kind of thing, with D-Rose out, with Kemba out. For the Celtics, a great win. They blow them out 24 points. Okay, Jaylen Brown, he's been good, really good. And, healthy. I think that's the most important thing. And putting up really good numbers. A triple-double here. Good to see him, Guys were talking about, how he doesn't. Marcus Smart, I believe, talking about people on the team don't pass the ball. It's great to see him getting 11 assists, 22 points. Good stuff. Um, he's like a top 35, 40 player. I was really concerned with his hamstrings, and who knows, he could pull it again. But this is great stuff. Marcus Smart, why did he only play 25 minutes? Maybe it was a blowout, yeah. Really good stuff. 4 steals. Only 2 assists, but, he'll be better than this. And they need to give the guy rest, Celtics, guys were coming in and out of the lineup, and he was the one that's always there on this team. Good stuff from him. Josh Richardson came in and played 30. The minutes is a bit inconsistent with him. If the Celtics got a good schedule, you could stream him. Otherwise, just we could move on. Robert Williams continues to impress. 34 minutes, even though it was a blowout. The coach wanted to get his minutes in. A steal and full block. He's been super, super good. I wanna try to sell high on him, to be honest. There's a chance he could do this, but I just don't think there's a reason why he struggled from time to time. He's not that good. Versus a lot of teams, like versus the Knicks, sure. Versus some teams, but there will be games where let's say he plays the Joel Embiid. Let's say he plays like a Rudy Gobert, where when he will not be able to dominate like this, right? A plus 23 as well. But overall, good stuff. If you try to sell high, I would try to get like a top 25, 30 player. Because that would be his ceiling. Who knows, he could do that. Like overall, he's the top 50 player for sure, just because the high blocks along. And Horford is trending down quite a bit. 20 minutes here, also a blowout. But he's a guy we gotta have, right? You don't drop him. He'll get scooped up right away. Jason Tatum, 19 points, not the best game. Jaylen Brown took out the assist. And Tatum, if you were gonna draft him next year in the late second or early, just know like this guy on the per game basis is not a top 10 player, right? I don't think it's that close. He is gonna be like top 20, 21st ranked player, and the reason you draft him that early is because they have availability. He's not gonna miss a lot of games. Per game basis wise, he's not gonna be there, right? Like him and Joel Embiid are the two guys that could draft it kind of next to each other, but Joel Embiid is way better on the per game basis. Dennis Schroeder, 21 points, 6 points. He's close to a drop. I want to monitor just to see what the minutes distribution looks like. But I want to hold on to him for a few more games. If he consistently get 20 minutes, he just had a decent game last game, so I want to hold and see, just one more game, 1 or 2 more games. The last game of the night, the Miami Heat, without Jimmy Butler, ankle sprains. I mean, he was questionable, but if you own Jimmy Butler, you don't want him to rush back. Like, if I own Jimmy Butler, I want him just be out for a week. Because what is this BS? You keep rushing yourself back and just keep getting injured again. And we all know, like, if you sprain your ankle once, right, if you don't get it right, you could sprain it again pretty easily. And this is like the second time now. And the fact that he was listed questionable was, to be honest, a little bit surprising. Caleb Martin, a steal and 10 points. You could write it out until Jimmy Butler comes back and then you drop him. Right? PJ Tucker also played decent. I mean, they scored 123 points and destroyed the Suns. Right? Suns, what's going on with them lately? I'm not 100% sure. They're still first in 6-4. So no, they dropped a bunch of games. Still first though. Over 34 minutes, must roster until guys come back. 16 rebounds, 8 assists here. That is some great stuff. And 2 steals. Max Strauss started. You could stream him for points and threes. But Duncan Robinson actually got the most of the minutes. Because he really had it going. Duncan Robinson is a guy that is being pretty poor this season. I don't know what's up with that. Like, you would think with all the guys, he's been available all season long pretty much. but the number of threes he's making this year has not been great. This game, I mean, a good game. I don't think, like, if you want to stream threes, I think Max is probably more consistent so far we've seen this season. But obviously, both guys you could stream. Kyle Lowry, 13 assists is good. Not much else, but a good game from him. And Tyler Hero, what a game. 33 minutes, 33 points, good efficiencies, sure, free throws, 4 turnovers is obviously, but we got to talk about the 3 steals and a block. Like, if Tyler Hero could be just a 1 steal guy, and he's kind of lengthy, I guess he has really short wingspans, so he doesn't really get that many blocks. But if he can get 1 steal, that would help his value tremendously. Like, he will be maybe moving inside of that top 90, top 80 even. But he's not a guy that I think you could just drop, because he's averaged close to 20 points. Like, he'll get it scooped up right away. But a good game from him. For the Phoenix Suns, Mikal Bridges, 29 minutes because, Jay Crowder is back. He was playing 40 minutes. And surprisingly, Cameron Johnson played the most minutes out of those 2 guys. So if you got Cameron Johnson, I want to hold on to him to 1 or 2 more games. The fact that he came off the bench and played 32 minutes, it was a blowout, so he may have gotten an extra a minute or 2 in the end. But him playing 30 minutes is still, he could be like, depend on the team. Like, if you got an efficient team, I don't think he's that much worse than Mikal Bridges, right? If the both guys getting the same amount of minutes. Obviously, nobody played well this game. Mikal Bridges shot 8 for 11. Jay Crowder, just a streamer, first game back, had 4 steals. That's nice, but nothing else. DeAndre Ayton, it's also his first game back. So with him back, Jalen Smith, we could say goodbye to him. And yeah, DeAndre Ayton, not the best game, but gonna give those guys a couple more games to ramp up coming back from COVID. Devin Booker continues to struggle from the field. I don't know what's going on with this guy lately. He's been shooting the ball very, very poorly. Every time I look at him, he's shooting sub 40%. In the last 2 weeks with Devin Booker, still 38th ranked player. Maybe just 2 bad games. Shooting 40% from the field, taking 21 field goals. Maybe that's why Suns are not winning. They don't want Devin Booker to take this many field goals. They got to move the ball around a little bit. 90% from the free throw line is really nice. 2.7 threes, that's kind of high for Devin Booker. But yeah, they got to move the ball a little bit more. Chris Paul also didn't have the best game. He's been dishing out like 12, 13 assists a game. Just 7 here and a steal. Had 4 turnovers as well. He'll bounce back from this. But Chris Paul this season, he's just turning into 2-category guy. Assists and steals. A good efficiency, sure. But because he gets such high assists, his value is really high up there. If you're a team with him, you're still losing assists, I look to trade him. If you still like middle of the pack, that means nobody on your team is getting assists, right? You just need 1 or 2 guys that could average 6, 7 assists, and your team will be really good, like above averaging assists. But nobody on your team is getting assists. I'd really try to trade him to get multiple categories back, right? If you're with him, you're still losing free throws most of the time, then it's not worth it. Cameron Johnson, like I said, still had an okay game, 15 points. And, I just want to hold him for a few more games. And that's it, guys. That's all the games. I'll see you guys tomorrow.